This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Yo, man, what's going on, dude? Let me ask you. So how's that apology coming, man? I'm
working on it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, well, you know what? People can give me all the shit they want, but here's the fact of the matter. I had my money, I had my hard-earned money put up on Bill O'Neill, okay? I threw down the max bet on Bill O'Neill, all right? So I didn't hear anybody from the corp. I didn't wake up to no text from nobody from the corp saying, yo, let me get a piece of that Bill O'Neill action, you know? I didn't wake up to any of those texts. So I had my money on Bill O'Neill. You know, no one else did. I cashed a healthy ticket there, turning $85 into like $360 at a three and a half to 1 underdog there. So clearly, I wasn't that out of line either. If he's a 3.5 to 1 underdog in that match, no, I mean that's that's a healthy dog.
Smart money though. Smart money goes on Bill there, and it has zero to do with Bill being bad. It's more of the odds, dude. Like the odds were in Bill's favor, and we all know that Bill can beat Belmo in a 1 or 2 game match. I mean, Bill is a top 5 bowler in the world. Top 5. I mean, maybe not this year, but I would say in general, if you were to make a top 5 list of top bowlers right now on tour, I think Bill would make a top 5 list and give him plus 350 odds. I think that's smart money, no?
Yeah, plus with the format, right? I mean,
format, right?
Yeah, this format kind of just falls into, you know, madness happening at some times, right? And you know, we'll talk about the matches a little bit later, but you know, you saw that a little bit here. I think Bill's match was probably the best example of that. What I'm referring to. But all right, Rob, a few things to get into here before we actually review the action from over the weekend, and there's more action this weekend. Even though it's taped action and it's not live action, and there's not going to be any betting on the action, there will be bowling action on. And, you know, the PBA, one thing they have done a really good job at is keeping the results of these taped shows under wraps, right? So, you know, I'll probably be watching the shows myself, not knowing much about who wins or who doesn't. So, you know, I would figure if we don't know, then there's probably not a lot of fans out there that are watching that know. So we'll review the shows from this past weekend, the live shows. We'll talk about the shows coming up. But first, Rob, it's why the people come every week. It's the main attraction around here at Sweep the Rack. It's my weekly league review. Oh my God, this league season, bro! It's been the most frustrating league season I've ever bowled in my life, and that's saying something because I've had some doozy league seasons for sure. So everybody knows that Mr. X was on our team, and Mr. X quit. Now, when Mr. X quit, he had somebody lined up to sub. Okay, which was our old teammate, the guy that we previously bowled with for 5-6 years in a row, who didn't bowl this year because he was planning to move. That didn't work out. The timing was different than what he thought it would be, so he was still around. So Mr. X quits. He gets our old teammate to come in and take his spot on our team, right?
So Mike.
And Mr. X tells us, because I brought up the idea that, you know, this guy who he's getting to fill in for him might move at any time. Any day, any week, he might up and decide, oh, you know what, I'm out. So he says, oh, well, if that happens, then I'll come back and I'll fill in for him. But then a couple weeks later, Mr. X joined his own team, a new team in the league. So he's not available to do that anymore. Well, guess what happened over the weekend?
He moved?
No, our league teammate injured himself. Okay? Injured himself. All right? Injured his back. He was out for Tuesday. I text everybody I know. That would possibly be available to sub. Nobody was available. So we had to show up and we had to bowl with an absent blind, which means like you're losing, I think, 10% of the person's average. So yeah, we were only getting, I think, like a 170 each game. And we got clobbered. I shot 570 myself, missed 3 makeables, made a split, so got one of them back. But yeah, I mean, the shots that I had the look I should have shot 750, but I just made too many bad shots. I put it out. That's what I said on Twitter, like just poor execution on my part, and that's mainly what it is. You know, when you bowl on the harder stuff, I often leave thinking, man, I just got to get better. I just got to throw it better. I just got to throw it more consistently. And if you're talking that shit about, oh, it's the bowling ball and I didn't match up and da-da-da, honestly, it's unless you're hitting what you're looking at 8, 9 times out of 10, that's bullshit. The balls ain't going to help you. The lining up ain't going to help you. None of that. You got to be able to hit what you're looking at. You got to be able to repeat that shit. And yeah, my repetition is just not at a high enough level right now. I mean, sometimes it is, but at other times it's just horrendous. Like one game last night, Rob, I started out strike, all great shots. I mean, great, dead flush, no doubters off my hand. By the time the ball's at the arrows, I know it's going to strike. Then I go gutter 6. Okay? I go gutter 6. Then I go crossover 5-9, chop it.
Oh.
Okay? Then I go big 4 through the face on the next shot.
So let me ask you, okay, and this is what it shows me. Shows me that it seems to be pretty mental more than it is physical, because if you start off at front 4, you probably would happen. In my opinion, first 3 shots, you probably started getting a little anxious and you probably started thinking too far ahead that, oh, I got a great look, right? Dude, there is some tournaments and some times when like you realize like, oh crap, I got a great look. Like, and you don't want to mess that up because you have such a good look that you put more pressure on yourself. And then mentally you start, okay, like I have a great look, I'm going to bowl great tonight. And then you just start making bad shots. So it shows that maybe like there's also some mental like game you need to like maybe sharpen up. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's not too much mental with me. I don't think I'm very relaxed when I'm bowling. I'm very relaxed when I'm bowling. But
dude, you're bowling like Sherry. I bet you Sherry will beat you, Mike. Probably. I haven't seen Sherry bowl.
Not on the tough. I'll take that match on the tough. Maybe on the easy, she might beat me. She might, pop a 268 or something. But on the tough, I'll take that. I honestly, I don't think it's mental with me. I do think it's more physical. I think it's just me not really knowing so clearly what the keys are for me to throw a successful shot each time. Because when things get out of whack a little bit, I don't really know why I threw it so bad.
That's important.
I know it's so important. And like I'm changing a few things in my game, so I'm still trying to figure out like, all right,
you know what you need to do? Here's
videotape
a really good
myself. It's what I've been doing.
Well, are you videotaping yourself during league?
No, I should. We've said for some time that would be great content. And yeah, I thought to myself today, because I was thinking at lunch, I was thinking about my league night last night, and I'm abusive to myself. I'm verbally abusive to myself when I'm bowling. And if you would have had me mic'd up last night, that would have been comedic gold for bowling content. So yeah, I feel like eventually we're gonna have to go the Darren Tang route and like mic me up for league night and set up a camera or 2, and it's gonna have to be like a weekly thing. No,
yo, you need the Smallwood coach from the TV show, man. Keep your elbow in. That's a great comment, Brian. But look, like here's the deal: is you could videotape yourself practicing for hours and throw 30 strikes in a row, and then you look at the video and you're like, man, I'm throwing it good. once the lights go on, and there is a mental aspect to it, right? Because the lights are on, and then you're not focusing on what you normally focus on when you're practicing. You're focusing on results more than you're focusing on process when you're bowling league. I feel like that could affect the way you throw the ball. So my opinion or my piece of advice to you would be video yourself bowling league, and if even if it's just one game or two games, and don't use it for content or YouTube or anything like this that maybe we want to do it for your own like self to like learn something. And then obviously you're gonna look at your bad shots and your good shots, and then you could compare them even and see what happened on this shot compared to what happened on that shot. And maybe you could pick up something. Maybe you could send that video and you could hire Mark Baker for an hour, go to Mark Baker Bowling and send him the video and say, here's or maybe work with me. I'll break up your game so that you only see your shots of the league. Send it to him and say, hey, like, can you like break down why my bad shots are bad? And then get someone who knows what they're looking at, and or you get Bill or Bill's dad to look at you, honestly, and have them look at your bad shots during league. And then you could focus, okay, my feet are getting way too fast. My my push away gets in, or my feet are slow, or my timing's off. And that way, when you have 3-4 in a row, you could focus on that specific part of that shot, and you might make better shots.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I mean, if I had a lot of time and resources to invest in it, I definitely would. But I'll try and go that route with the taping of a league session. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, honestly, I felt like I had a 750 look last night and shot 570.
Dude, it's, this is such a great comment. He writes, it's crazy how one thought, just any thought at all, can change everything. There's a reason why some of the best in the world miss single pin spares, honestly, because all it takes is one lapse of a split second mentally to literally like lose your whole shot.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's kind of
Camp, what up? What up? I saw you won a NEBA over the weekend. Yes, you won a NEBA. You're going to be at Carolier on Saturday, or are you bowling the regional? You're a regional guy now. I don't know. So yeah, I'm bowling a tournament on Saturday, Rob.
Rob,
I'm homie. I'm in it for the punishment. I'm bowling a tournament at Carolier on the U.S. Open number 2 pattern. What many of the pros said is the hardest pattern they've ever bowled on.
Is it a Greg's Hack?
No, it's a Doug LaCorey bowlage event. So it's right around the corner. I feel bad. I actually had to drop out. I committed to bowl a doubles tournament that Dougie is running on the same day. And I had a partner lined up as well. And then this tournament came into my radar. And it's only 15 minutes from my house as opposed to over an hour for Dougie's event. So, yeah, I had to hit up Dougie and the guy that I was going to bowl with and tell them that I was going to have to drop out and bowl this one. But, yeah, I'll be at Carolier on Saturday bowling on the U.S. Open pattern. And a lot of the good bowlers ain't going to be there, Rob, because there's a regional in Maryland. So I feel like if I bowl well, I might be able to do something. Johnny in the chat, what's up?
Averages approximately 164. I doubt that, but that pattern is really hard. I'm
gonna go and pull my hair out on Saturday, but that's all right. I got a nice dinner planned Saturday night. Me, the wife, a few couples are going out to dinner. It's a place that I've been looking forward to hitting up. So it doesn't matter how I bowl on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to enjoy myself Saturday night. Easter is Sunday. Going to have the fam over. Easter bunny's coming for the kids. Also want to say, Johnny, saw that you guys started a podcast. Check it out. I'm sorry. The name is Rob. What's the name?
It's like a Straight Up 5 or
Straight Up 5. I think you're right.
Something like
Johnny,
that. Johnny,
right? Drop the name in the chat. Drop the link in the chat. Guys, check out his podcast as well. I feel like in a year or two, everybody's going to have a bowling podcast. It's just going to be like everyone has a podcast, but it's cool.
I like
check it out. I saw it pop up on my YouTube feed, and I was like, "Yo, I got to check it out. Got to give it a listen." So,
Yo, I like bowling content. I mean, there could never be enough of it, honestly. So like, I don't even look at it as like any kind of competition. Like, I don't care. Like, that doesn't matter to me. Like, it's content.
can I counter that just by suggesting that I spend way too much time on my phone?
Oh yeah, I know. That's the last thing you do, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like. I get
Rob,
caught up in the bowling content, Rob, and the next thing you know, like I'm in a YouTube black hole of bowling content. Like it starts off good, it starts off well, but then by the time I get to the end, I'm watching like random bowling videos of people practicing.
Well, let me
You know
be
what I'm
clear.
saying?
Let me be clear. I like listening to bowling content for people who know what the hell they're talking about. Okay. I like Johnny's show because obviously Johnny knows what the hell he's talking about, right? I like Stu and Beef and Barnsey because obviously they know what the hell they're talking about, right? Like I like shows that people know bowling and they're making educated and funny and making it entertaining, right? I'm not going to watch some bronze level coach tell me on how to play the lanes, right? Like that's not
Ball
what I
reviews?
want.
What are you telling me? You're not watching ball review videos?
I'm not watching ball
You're
reviews.
watching your brother's ball review videos, but that's different.
He knows what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
He's super
Well,
smart, my
I'm
brother.
still not watching the ball review videos, but I love your brother. Got much love for him anyway. But I feel you on supporting him. But no, listen, I'm serious though. Like I get deep into I get too deep into the bowling content, bro. Some of the stuff that I come up on, you'd honestly judge me. People would judge me if they knew what I was watching on YouTube for the bowling
I
content.
love this. Captain Polish, man. I listen to you guys all day at work.
Me checking out a podcast by Johnny, is like that's like tip of the iceberg type stuff for me.
So Captain Polish 89, I listen to you guys all day at work, should be caught up in about a year. Captain, do me a favor. I would love to know what your favorite episode or interview was. I feel like I have so many, but I love to like ask the fans when they're watching or binge listening to all of our shows on what their favorite episode was. So just hit us up, email us, or even let us know in the chat what your best episode was in your opinion. But all
right, Rob, so I'm bowling a tournament this weekend. You're bowling a tournament this weekend. Sweep the rack. We're everywhere this weekend.
I'm bowling Saturday. I got an hour reserved at B3, so I'm getting some practice in on Saturday afternoon. I'm probably going to drill up my new Gold Storm Belmo bowling ball, which I'm all excited about.
You people see how he loves to rub it in. You see this? You see this? And let me say something. I'm gonna put this out there generally. I do way more favors for professional bowlers than this guy does. Let me say that. I do way more favors. So,
let me tell you something, Mike. I go way back with these guys, okay?
I gotta start calling in some paybacks.
I knew these guys before they were pros, Mike. I knew these guys when they were still 18, 19 years old. Oh, he blocked me.
Yeah, you're getting blocked because you're flexing on people.
Dude,
I love it.
I flexed. That ball's so sick, dude. I don't even want to drill it, by the way. I just want to put it on a mantle and just like leave it there.
How much is that ball? Sherry's saying she won't pay that price for any ball. How much is it?
Who says I paid for it?
He didn't pay. I know he didn't pay for it. Are you kidding me? Don't think I'm suggesting that. But I'm asking how much is it?
I'm not saying I did it. I'm just not commenting if I would pay. It was $300. That ball.
$300, $400. Somebody's saying $400.
No, it was $300.
$300. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was $300 on Bowler's Mart.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
whatever.
So,
what are you bowling?
I'm bowling another a CBE event in about 45 minutes from here. I'm bowling on Kegel Kryptonite. Okay. I'm not sure. I looked up what the pattern is. I never bowled on it. I'd imagine there will be low scoring. I won't think it'll be as low scoring as Red Square was last time I bowled the CBE. But the event's on a Sunday afternoon, which is
on Easter?
I like it. On Easter Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I like the fact. Well, I'm not celebrating Easter. Oh, please. Let me tell you something, Anthony.
Patch Pirate Rob. That's right. That's right, son. Tell him.
I earned my patch. I earned that. Okay.
I
earned it.
I'm gonna have to kick you off of this podcast if you keep it up.
Hey, I used to be a patch pirate, but let me tell you something. I earned that patch. Okay. I don't own a pro shop. I just know. Look, man, I know the right people. Okay, what can I say? But yeah, so I'm gonna be practicing Saturday, Sunday. I'm getting ready to bowl Memorial Day weekend, Mike. I'm going to the USPC Nationals.
Okay.
Do you know? I found out who my doubles partner is. I'm actually bowling with Wesley Lowe, which I was very excited to hear, considering how it's at the South Point Stadium, and they seem to be pretty playable this year. I'm gonna need my A game, Mike, because Wesley Lowe is probably going to shoot like 890 for for doubles, and I'm not going to go there and bowl 500. So I really need to tighten up my game, Mike. I have a really good, solid team too, and I really don't want to be lone man. So wow, I'm getting shade thrown at me all day here by being Bill's friend. Let me tell you something, okay? We knew Bill way before. Bill was my friend back in juniors. Okay. People were going over to Bill and asking Bill if they knew me. Okay. Let me put that out. Okay.
It's true. You want to know why, though? No, it is. It's true. You want to know why? It's because Rob got featured in Bowling This Month.
I did.
Okay. Rob got featured in Bowling This Month. They used to have a feature on the back page be called Future Stars of Tomorrow. Future Star. Yo, listen, you think I forget this, son? Future Stars of Tomorrow, okay? And we all got this magazine, like Bill and me and Joe, we used to read this magazine at the bowling alley and et cetera. So we pick it up one month and we see this kid in there from around our area, from Brooklyn, New York. And it said, it's got his accomplishments in there and whatnot. I think we may have seen you at a JBT or two at that point. And but yeah, I will say that kind of had Rob at like junior bowling celebrity status for a little while. Because he was in the Bowling This Month, Future Stars of Tomorrow. I mean, the only other person I remember being featured in there was Roy Kalanquin. That's it. You and him were the only two people I ever remember seeing featured in that portion of the match. I think Deandra Asbeatty
Andrew
Hyman. Andrew K. You're right. I remember that one.
Eddie Kirtley. Okay. Eddie Kirtley.
Okay. Yeah, he was a lefty, right? Arizona State lefty. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
See, here's the thing. Can I say, though, some of the people that were featured in there when I eventually got to see them bowl in college and bowl at junior gold, they didn't live up to the hype. But I'm going to admit, Rob lived up to the hype, not only in the way he threw it, but also in his swag on the lanes.
There's not even a question. Mike is the best Jersey bowling coach ever to come out of the state of Jersey. I'm the best junior bowler ever come out of Brooklyn. And I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody who wants to argue that point. Okay, this show is not about how good. I feel like Al Bundy, Mike. I want to talk about my high school, like 4 touchdowns, 1 game, the high school glory days.
I was going to say, I've heard Gil Barkman. Gil Barkman was like a beast of a junior bowler. He's in the chat sometimes. He's in the chat sometimes, so I don't know. He might have something to say if he hears this.
He was great. But
Cavagnaro wasn't a Brooklyn guy, though. He was a Long Island guy.
He was born and raised in Brooklyn, though.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he lived in Canarsie. He lived like literally 10 minutes from me. I grew up with Cavagnaro. I mean, I knew the kid since he was 9 years old. He bowled the first 300 at 10, 11 years old with me on a Friday night doubles league with an AMF Ninja. If anybody remembers that black ball, the original Ninja. It was like 12 pounds, I think. He bowled a 300 with Alex. But Mike, I love
Nico asked me if I'm taking a job coaching a women's bowling. Nico, I wish there was a place I've applied for 3 different New Jersey college coaching jobs, and I haven't gotten any of them.
You didn't give them references, did you, to call people?
Yeah, of course I did.
Didn't see the video that you were on what was the video of you on the parental school board, right?
No, this was several years back. One job I applied for, and I even if they would have offered me the job, I wasn't going to take it because I could tell that they weren't serious about building a winning program, and they actually ended up getting rid of the program like a few years later. The other job I applied for, I really wanted it, and I felt like I had a good chance at getting it, but I found out after I went on the interview that there was already somebody that they were connected to and that they were going to hire. And then the third place that I went to for an interview was a little bit far. I didn't end up having that much interest in it just because of the commute that would have been involved in practicing and doing things of that nature. But I agree with Anthony. Like, I've emailed Rutgers before, and I've told them, like, listen, if you're ever interested in starting a serious, women's bowling program or women's and men's bowling program, hit me up. We could definitely make it happen.
I feel like Shari, I feel like it needs to be a reality show of a camera crew following around Mike. One as a parent, and two is him at the school board meetings. I feel like that would be an amazing tale of two tapes. Kind, loving father, and then complete savage at school board meetings. I feel like that's the way Mike is built, but it's hilarious.
No doubt. Yeah.
Check
out Jimmy. Check out Jimmy's social media, the Ringing 10 on Twitter. He's got it up there.
All right, so let's talk bowling, because me and Mike could talk about our glory days probably until the freaking cows come home. We could have a 6-hour episode tonight if we do that. But there were actually people who were bowling for
for a living,
who bowl for a living, not us. On this past weekend, Mike, the PBA playoffs kicked off, and what an amazing show to kick off! Right, at first match out of the gate, they come swinging with, best friend versus best friend, roommate versus roommate, Bill O'Neill versus Jason Belmonte. And Mike, the match didn't disappoint. It really didn't. It was a crazy match. It was definitely a carry contest for a little bit. I feel like Belmonte caught a bunch of really bad breaks that really probably essentially maybe cost him that match. But
it absolutely cost him the match. It cost him the first game, and therefore cost him the match. Is there a penalty for hitting the pins too hard? Because I feel like that's what happened. Like, he hit them too hard, and there was a penalty for hitting them too hard, and that was like the 4-pin blowing over the top of the 7-pin.
I got to stop what we're doing here to read this comment because it's made me laugh. Our best episode so far was when me and you remember we were designing our own bowling alleys? Is that where I put a strip joint in the bowling alley?
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, the shit, we need to do more of that. Okay, anyway, sorry. I was just thinking about getting a lap dance while I was bowling, and I remember that skit we used to do.
There was a point on this podcast where we were calling bowling alleys and asking if they had 8-pound balls. So, we've kind of run the gamut here across the board of everything, but I don't know. See, like, I'm all about that kind of stuff. Rob, he likes to keep it a little more tight around here, but
what are you talking about? I love that shit. Yo, do you remember when that lady, the owner of the bowling alley, kicked the people out because they were talking?
We tried to call them. I know, yeah. That was good stuff.
Oh, good old days. I feel like.
All right, back to the action. We can't stay on the present tonight for some reason.
We need a best of episode. Maybe we'll do that on like our 500th episode or something, where we'll go through all of our episodes.
That would be good. What's up, Rock? What's up, Rock? Rocky's here.
Right next to me.
Yeah, listen, I think there was a penalty for hitting the pins too hard, and the penalty was blasting the 4-pin over the top of the 7, and that's what happened to him at least twice. The other 2 7-pins, I think, were not as good. They were still great shots, and shots I would really be pissed off if they didn't strike on for me. But I'm not Jason Belmonte, so for his standard, I think they could have been a little bit better. But certainly in 2 instances, he got absolutely robbed. So, yeah, that was the difference in the match, and it went to a roll-off. The second game wasn't even really close because Bill lost his look halfway through the game with the urethane, and it stopped. Yeah, it stopped hooking down lane, and you knew he was going to have to switch balls and find something for the roll-off, and he was able to do that almost to the point where he sort of got back in the match and made it a match anyway with a few frames to go.
And then missed the spare.
Goes to the roll-off, and great
Bill
pressure.
Dalmo threw one bad shot.
Great pressure bowling by Bill.
So let me ask you, just your curious thought. How do you feel about the TV format of them bowling a game or going a best of two and then going to a two-frame roll-off? Like, what are your thoughts on that specific format for the show?
I mean, I just think that whatever the roll-off portion is, I want it to be a little more significant. Because when you go 1-1, and if you split, you got to bowl a roll-off. I mean, a lot of the matches are likely going to go to a roll-off. So it was one shot in previous installments of this event. Now it's 9th and 10th frame. I don't know. I mean, I know that there's tradition in bowling with either 9th and 10th frame roll-off or one-shot roll-off. Would I be completely out of line to suggest that maybe it's a 3-frame roll-off? Add an extra frame there, make it a little bit longer, and give each player a little bit more, or maybe even a half game, a 5-frame roll off. I wouldn't hate that. So I don't care. I like the 1-1. I don't have a problem with that. I just think that it has a lot to do, and I know we're likely going to go here as part of the conversation when we're done, but going to that 9th and 10th frame roll off or that one-shot roll off, it really just has a lot to do with luck.
I mean, obviously you have to make good shots, but they're softer. I mean, they're not hard right now. And I feel like the pros are going to really take advantage of it after bowling on some of the crap they've been bowling on the last few months, between the Masters and, the other, the US Open and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I like the format. I don't have a problem with it. I like the match play format aspect of it. I'm not a fan of the 9th and 10th frame roll off. I think you're on the point with the 5-frame game. I think that would be more interesting where you bowl 4 frames than a 10 frame. Now, would they be able to put 2 matches on one show because of that? Probably not. So now you're looking at like having a problem with the TV airtime and getting in 2 matches in that time slot. So I guess for what it is, and for them to be able to put 2 matches on a show, I don't mind it, and I think it's okay. I was just getting your
I think it's okay too. Like I agree with Chris here in the chat. He's saying the 9th and 10th is much better than the one ball. It's less.
I agree with that.
Totally agree with that. Terrible. And that's why I would advocate for, if we can even extend that a little more. I'd like to extend that a little more. Get that luck factor a little out of there, even more so. But you're right, Rob. I mean, obviously, it's got to be tailored to TV and has to be tailored to the time frame, that they're kind of working with, especially being that it's taped and, some of these are going to be taped anyway. But all right.
Yeah.
So back to the action. Bill beats Belmo,
Bill
right? And he's going to move on. The other match, and can I say before we move on, Fox Bet sucks. I'm going to say it again. I feel like I say it every time live bowling is on and I'm trying to bet. Yeah, they just suck. It's just terrible. Everything's hard to find. You can't bet on the matches before they take place. It's like you can only bet on the first one, then the second one, then the third. No, they should have all been posted there from the beginning. Here's the matches that are going on today. Bet on them whenever you want. Then they posted them in another spot that was hard to find. But then when the first show started, you couldn't bet on the second show's matches because it was like they thought the shows were the same. Like they got to work this stuff out, man. I'm telling you, betting on bowling is going to be a big part of making bowling take the next jump and the next leap. But I really enjoyed being able to bet on it. Obviously since Bill won, I also had action on this next match, Rob. That's why I brought it up. I had action on the Kyle Troop match as well. I took Kyle, I think, for $65 to win 130. I think they were both minus 110 in this match.
So here's my point. Here's my viewpoint, and I said this last week, is it was hard to make predictions because we didn't know how the shot was going to play. We didn't. And I feel like as educated fans, I can make better predictions on the bracket based on what the shot is doing. We had a chance to see what the left side was going to look like too with Packy bowling in the next show. But I mean, after seeing Bill and Belmo's match, if you were to ask me who would have won Troop or Rash, I would have probably bet on Troop more than Rash because of the fact that the scores were going to be higher, and Troop, obviously is probably would have had a better carry percentage due to the higher rev rate and him being able to overpower the lanes, right? When Rash couldn't. So that, I wish we could do the predictions over again after we saw like the first match, but I feel like
Yeah,
that's what
I just took Troop just based honestly off of being two-handed rev rate. They're probably going to be striking a lot, is what I
I
thought.
gotta bring this up. Nico writes, can I also say Sean Rash need to stop whining? Dude, what's so wrong with somebody showing emotion on TV these days, Mike? I love Rash for live TV. The kid is great entertainment. You never know what he's going to do. You never know what he's going to say, right? He's not afraid to speak his mind. He's not afraid to show emotion. Why, Mike, why are people so afraid of this? Like, what is so bad about what he does? So what? He cursed on TV. So what? He was pissed that a score like moved while he was shooting a 10-pin. Mike, Pete Weber did the same shit back in his day, and people loved him for it. And Rash is doing very similar to what Pete was doing, and everybody is all on Rash's case. Like, why are people so scared of emotion in these days? Mike, it kills me. It just annoys me.
Yeah, and Nico's clarifying here in the chat that he was referring to his back hurting and the light going off.
Well, they asked him about it, though. They asked him about his back, though.
I know, and as far as the light going off, I mean, that shouldn't happen on a telecast for this amount of money. I kind of agree with him there.
Oh. Dude, we got to talk about this too, because Rash, I don't know if people heard that, but he balked, and then he stepped back, and he's like, oh, people are clapping for this now too? This is great. This is awesome. I love this kind of shit, Mike. This is what makes bowling entertaining. You know what I mean? And this is why people love Pete Weber, because Pete Weber was bound to do anything at any time, and he was must-watch TV. Mike, Sean Rash is must-watch TV these days when he bowls on TV. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also think that generally, to speak to your point before, more generally speaking, like, I don't know why these instances are such a big deal in the bowling community either, Rob. I mean, you see this kind of stuff in other sports with like trash talking and I mean, sometimes it's even physical fighting between players.
NASCAR.
So yeah, there was just a fist fight between NASCAR guys. You're right. So, Tiger Woods dropped an F-bomb at the Masters over the weekend at one point, and I saw that kind of go viral. So, like, I think a lot of people enjoy seeing that side of sports and athletics. Not all the time, obviously, but, from time to time when it comes out.
I saw Kevin Durant, dude, yelling at a fan that was telling him he needs to step up his game. Yeah. He turns around and is like, shoot, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't even want to hear you anymore.
Yeah, so, and in terms of, I'll also go to that side if you want. I also think that the bowlers themselves are somewhat soft in some regards about, taking criticism or, people like us, I'll just say it, people like us who are commentating on bowling, perhaps commentating on their performances. I mean, this is a part of being a professional athlete. I would say that for the fans' perspective and being soft, and I would say that for the athletes too. But yeah, definitely, you need that kind of entertainment, Rob. Dude, I agree. You need that kind of entertainment.
If Rash wants to be like a villain or whatever, it is, he's being himself. And the one thing that I've learned about Sean Rash is he doesn't care what people say or think about him. And that's why he's so great, because he does what he does, he says what he says, and he don't care about what everybody else thinks of him. He doesn't. He has his friends and his close friends and his family, and he takes care of that, and he has his own, people. And outside of that, he's must-watch TV, Mike. When Rash is on TV, everybody wants to watch because you never know what the hell he's going to do, and I love him for it.
Well, you're going to be disappointed, Rob, because he's out. because Kyle Troop went 266, 266.
And Troop is good for TV too, though.
Yeah, the match was never even really close. We all know that Sean had suffered an injury earlier in the season. He commented on it obviously in an interview. I don't know how much it was affecting him out on the lanes, but to me, it didn't really seem that he had his A game with him from the jump. So Troop goes on. Troop's going to bowl Bill in the next round. Okay.
Dude, people are like, "Oh, he can't be bowled that bad. He bowls 5 days a week, league." I love that. I love our fans are the best, Mike.
If you're bowling 5 nights a week in league, yeah, definitely can't be complaining if the back hurts. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I love our fans, Mike. I love our people who watch our show, dude.
They're passionate. They're passionate people.
The Sweep the Rack family never forgets, dude. And they love it. They know everything that's going on, or like.
So Bill is going to take on Troop in the next round. All right, and that I think. I'm pretty sure by now it's already taken place. So obviously we will see things unfold as they air these taped shows here. But going to the second show, Rob, you had Dom Barrett against Packy Hanrahan, and I actually, after watching the first 2 matches, I really liked Packy's chance in this match because I knew he was going to be throwing urethane and a purple hammer. And he was going to be on the left side, and he would be the only one there, and he wouldn't really have, there wouldn't be much traffic there for him to deal with. And I thought, like, wow, if he can really get up and execute well, he might really have a chance in this match. And he did. He did have a chance in the match. The first game was tough because obviously Dom shot 280, and you're not going to best that in a lot of situations. But Packy comes back strong with 255 the next game. And, in the roll-off, obviously he didn't make his best shots, but I also feel like, his carry was not all that great. And, Dom kind of got him easily in that 2-frame roll-off.
Yeah, I honestly, the feeling that I had watching that match was, Packy did have a chance to win, but I just had that feeling that he wasn't going to win. And that's the thing about using urethane when you're bowling, like people who aren't using urethane. It might come back to bite you eventually, especially in a high scoring pattern. You know what I mean? So I might have liked Packy's chances if the scores were a little bit lower, but after Dom shot 280 coming out of the gate, I just kind of was like, yeah, Packy's gonna need to try to outstrike. Barrett using a resin or performance, and there's really only a few lefties that can strike with righties when their scores are high. And those 2 lefties to me are Jacob Buttriff and Jesper Svensson. I don't think there's any other pro or lefty pros out there right now that could actually keep up high scoring using urethane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in a 2-game match, I kind of disagree with you. Over the longer haul, I agree. In a 2-game match, I disagree, though. I think, somebody like Packy with a purple hammer in their hand can be dangerous in this kind of format. Because maybe, to go, 260, 260 is like, it's definitely not something that's out of the question. But you're right. I mean, the
caught up in the roll-off, though.
Yeah, the competition is stiff here. There's no question. I mean, it's the top 16 guys, so like there's no free pass here at all, right? There's no free pass. So
yeah, these are great lefties. Look, I'm not saying Matt Russo or Kevin Williams aren't great lefties, but
no, I think what Rob is saying is that you really have to be striking at a premium, in an event like this. And to him, there's really only 2 guys on the left side currently that can strike at that premium on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kyle Troop just went 260, 260. Okay. So will you put Kyle Troop using a performance bowling ball 2-handed? Would I take odds of him beating any lefty using a urethane or anybody using a urethane? I would put my money on Kyle Troop, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, just to that point as well, the winning scores in all these matches, you ready? 247, 258, 266, 266, 280, 255, 210, and then 258.
258. So the average is easily 250 to 260s.
Yeah, if you're not shooting 250, you're probably not winning, right? So
urethane though gives you a slightly less chance of shooting that 250 because all it takes is 2 or 3 flat sevens or flat tens or whatever it is, or just a couple bad breaks. I mean, obviously you can have that happen when you use high performance, but the percentages are greater of you doing that using urethane. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So again, Barrett moves on. Prather against Miller. The first game was close in this match, 210 to 205, but the second game, Prather won going away, 258, 212.
Dude, I love Prather's chances on this pattern, dude. And I
Prather's
thought
a bad man, dude. That dude.
But I thought,
he's the best one-handed bowler on the planet.
I mean, after the first 4 frames, he had the first 4 frames and he went Brooklyn. After the 4th shot, I said to myself, dude, Brad Miller has no chance to win this match. And then it got really close. And I'm like, wow, I was wrong. I'm glad I didn't tweet any of that out. But I really think that Prather is going to be really hard to beat on this pattern. If anybody is going to be able to beat him, it's going to be Kyle Trout. So I would, depending on what happens with Kyle and Bill, I like Prather's chances to climb the bracket here. Like, honestly, if you ask me a pick for this whole tournament right now, Prather would probably be my pick. But we'll see.
Dude's a sicko.
Yeah, he's really good when you can get left and throw it right.
Dude's a sicko. I mean, he's like I said, he's the best one-handed bowler on the planet right now. Yeah. And the best two-handed bowler on the planet's already out of the tournament. So,
Kyle Trout would be the only one.
If I'm Chris Prather, I like my chances, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Rob. Here's what I thought about.
Well, let me ask you something first.
Oh, go ahead. You're going to cut me off. Go ahead.
I'm going to cut you off. I put up a tweet about luck being prevalent more in bowling than other sports. And I want your thoughts on this because after watching this show and seeing, what happened when, Chris Prather goes Brooklyn, Brad Miller gets up pocket 7-10s, Jason Belmonte high flushes a 7-pin 3 times in his first match. Is luck more prevalent in bowling than it is in other sports like golf or games that are starting to come up like bags and darts, right? Where you could probably compare a little bit to bowling, right? And my further point is bowling is one of the only sports / games where you can throw the ball 12 times bad, meaning not hit where you're looking at, and have a successful game and actually bowl very well. Compared to if I was on a golf course or playing darts or playing bags, if I threw it if I had 12 bad shots, or golf, I made 5 bad shots, I'm not going to get the results. But bowling, I can get the right results even with the bad shots. So I'm going to throw it to you. What do you think on that take and that thought?
Well, first of all, I have to respond to a comment in the chat here before I address. Somebody, Charles, has asked me if I'm forgetting about EJ Tackett. I mean, do you mean, am I forgetting about something that he won? Because I don't, in order to be the best one-handed bowler on the planet, you better win some tournaments, and more than a doubles event. So I don't know, my man.
It's arguable. It's arguable.
If we're talking qualifying, it's arguable, but
it's arguable.
You drive for show and you putt for dough. Okay. And Prather's got the wins. Right. So I'm going to stick with that. Rob, inherently, yes, obviously bowling is a sport that is greatly affected by luck. What you made me think of is that, then all the 300s that take place on a daily basis on house bullshit are all luck, because you're saying, the person's not, throwing a good shot. They're not doing what they're trying to do, but they're still getting a good result. Now I know that's not necessarily what you're talking about. You're talking about the breaks of the game, the breaks of the game. I don't know. I mean, I think every sport has the breaks of the game. I think there's pieces of luck involved in all sports, the way a ball bounces. I mean, I could give a million examples, right?
Yeah, but that happens
even in golf. Even in golf,
yeah,
guys
guys
hit bad shots and they get a good lie, or they end up with a good lie, or they hit it, they don't hit it the way they wanted to, but their read was wrong and it ends up being correct.
Here's my point to this, okay? Because like golf, yes, you could hit a bad shot and you could get a good result, but if you consistently hit bad shots, you're going to consistently score bad, right? Bowling, on the other hand, you can consistently make bad shots and you can consistently get breaks in order and actually have a game where you could bowl a 240 or 250 and maybe throw the ball maybe once or twice and hit where you're looking at, okay?
No, if you're bowling on the tougher stuff, though, I don't believe that to be the case.
I'm not talking tougher stuff. I'm talking in general as a bowling, a regular league. I'm bowling in general.
I mean, it's completely fraudulent, though. So
the pin spotters, right? Like the pin spotters aren't exactly putting the pins in the correct place every shot, right? The machines are putting pins differently all over. That affects a lot of like your luck, right? On how you score and succeed. I'm just saying, I think the reason why bowling is a sport on where it is these days is because of that fact, where you could make a ton of bad shots and actually bowl pretty good. But in other sports, if I make bad shots or I make a bad shot, I'm not going to actually see a lot of success.
Yeah, but Sherry in the chat saying even on the tougher shots you can catch some good breaks. Yeah, I understand. But you're not going to catch them to a high enough degree that it's really going to matter in the long run.
Right.
And that's part of the point that I want to make to Rob, is that I think this is why, Rob, is bowling is a sport that's meant to be played over the long run. Right? It's a sport that's meant to have a lot of games and a lot of competition involved in crowning somebody the winner of a competition.
Right.
And the reason is because the longer you bowl and the more games you bowl, you would imagine that the luck factor would factor less into it, right? And that the quality of shots and the quality of the competitor is going to factor more into it. I generally agree with that. I disagree with you when you say that bowling isn't popular partly because of this, and here's why. Look at poker. I mean, poker is so much based on luck, where you don't even really have to know the intricacies of the game to get into a game and play well, or get into a poker tournament and end up winning. And that's extremely popular. And that's been popular for like 2 decades now. So I don't know if it's the luck. I think that, people might not understand when something lucky happens. We can go deeper with this discussion if you want and talk about whether, rule changes would be needed in bowling for lucky shots. But that kind of goes against the rules of the game, which are just knock down the 10 pins however you want. We all look at a crossover as a good break for one guy and a bad break for another. But the fact of the matter is that person accomplished the objective of the game the same way somebody else does who actually hits the pocket. And I don't think that, I want to lose sight of that as well. So is it a factor? Yes. Over the longer hauls of competition, is that luck likely to be less of a factor? Yes. But is it going to affect things here and there? Yeah, of course it is. That's the way the game goes.
I think that's why, and this is kind of a weird take on what I was saying, is I think that's why the high roller was so much fun, yet so frustrating and so entertaining to watch. Because when you're deciding $100,000 or $250,000 tournament on a 1-game match, on a brutal shot, on a lot of bowlers who aren't pros, are amateurs, there's so much luck involved in not only the draw on who you bowl, but on the actual game, how it plays out. It was one of the very well-known things about the high roller, where you could draw somebody who was essentially 50 pins less of an average than you and lose to them because they crossed over 3 times, went through the nose once.
That happened to me. That happened to me
Yeah.
when I went to the high roller.
Dude, it happens to everybody, but that's the reason why the high roller was so entertaining.
But at the same time, there's a lot of guys who have a story about losing a match at the high roller to luck. But I don't think there's anybody out there that has a story about winning the high roller because they had continuous luck. And I want to be clear here. Stephen P. in the chat asked me, am I saying that skill doesn't matter in poker? No, I play poker. I know skill matters. My point is more so that it's a game that involves luck to a point where someone with a lower skill level, because of the luck in a short run, could easily compete with someone at a higher level in the game.
If they're catching the cards, right?
Again, in the short run. Right. Over the just like I said with bowling, over the long run of things, you're definitely likely to see a more direct result of skill in the game. But over that shorter run, I think that luck is going to factor more into it. I find it very ironic that we're discussing this, Rob, when Jimmy and Inside Bowling sent out Chris Barnes's $250,000 crossover over the weekend. So listen, it happens.
Mike, great question. Can the high roller ever come back? Let's pray to God that they could bring that tournament back, because I feel like if they could run a streaming service to stream those matches so people can watch them with maybe some commentary like they do with the tournaments these days, I feel like that would be so much more of an entertainment factor for people watching at home when they could actually see these one-game matches. Now, where they would take place, Mike, Carolier or Bolero Carolier would be an amazing location and facility to run $100,000 one-game match tournament high roller.
Well, first of all, it would have to be way more than 100,000. If we're bringing it back, it's got to be $1 million.
They tried that, and nobody wanted to bowl. They did.
That was going to be my point. Who's going to bowl? Where are you getting the entries from?
Where are you getting
the entries from? You run a tournament with any kind of high value of an entry fee or a prize, the only guys that are going to show up are the best in the world, and they're already out there bowling on tour. So those guys will show up. But outside of those guys, you ain't going to get many people. You ain't going to get the amateur bowlers to show up and bowl against the pros.
No, you're shutting the pros out. It's an amateur tournament, first off. Let's just put it like that. If you have a pro card, you're not bowling.
Nah, that's bullshit. I'm not with that.
It's a high roller.
Nah, you bring something like this back, you got to let everybody in it.
No, that's bullshit. No, bullshit. Why should the pros be allowed to bowl against amateurs?
Yeah, you got to because it needs to be that big of an event in the bowling world.
No, because you're shutting out make it an strictly amateur tournament. Make it $150,000, $200,000 for first place. Dude, look what the TAT does. Dude, the TAT brings in hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people every year, and they don't let the pros bowl. There's a reason why all the amateurs bowl, and they're bowling for $20,000, $25,000. Dude, you put $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 on top. Dude, you run sweepers during the week, $10,000, $15,000 sweepers. You limit it to amateurs. You put the bracket action there. You bring it back. You put out a tough shot. And I guarantee you the amateurs will come, but it has to be the right venue. It has to be the right city. It has to be the right facility. Like, it can't be somewhere like where I think what killed the high roller, in my opinion, was once they moved it to Sam's Town. Sam's Town was a small, considering where they had it at Castaways or Showboat, which was 106 lanes. They moved to Sam's Town, which had 40 or 50 lanes. And Sam's Town wasn't exactly the greatest facility either. So people were traveling there, and it was just way too much going on that week. But I would love to bring that tournament back because of the fact where we would actually be able to stream it, and people could actually watch to how great of an entertainment value those one-game, pretty much luck factor matches were. And I've been a part of all those one-game luck matches. Dude, being a part of something like that where it was a $1,200 entry or an $800 entry and you have one game, no losers bracket, you bowl one game and you're out, the craziest shit happens. And it was a pleasure to be a part of that tournament. And I will tell stories of the high roller until I die.
No doubt. All right, Rob. Let's give the people what they want. Let's give the people what they come for. All right,
So
Rob, you want to go? You want me to go? What do you want to do?
I'll go because I think mine, is a pretty good one. It's just a really epitome of worst of the week. I feel like probably be the cover page of our worst of the week logo. So this gentleman named Mike O'Mara, congratulations, buddy. You've done it. You've made worst of the week. You can tell all your friends at home, your family, you did it. You accomplished your goal.
I had this one too.
For
I had
Hammer
this
Bowling?
I had this as a possibility. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got to then read Darren Tang's post because that's a front runner.
I got that one. I got that one too.
Okay. So Mike. I hope I'm saying your name right. Ruther says, "Wow, the Smalls TV show was worst of the week." They're gonna win every week. So Mike O'Mara, congrats. If you know him, congratulate him. Tell him to watch. He's on Sweep the Rack. His post asking for a friend. Is there a hammer ball or any other that has a reputation for taking out the 10 pin for a righty? ?
Terrible.
That's so bad. I mean, that's got to be a troll comment at this point? No,
Just terrible.
So bad. Anyway, I don't think that we really need to comment further on that. But Mike, buddy, I want to ask you something or bring it to your attention. If you find that ball that is known for taking out the 10 pin, can you please let us know? Let me know, because I would love to buy a ball and put it in my arsenal where I know that I'm not going to leave any 10 pins. Could you imagine the advantage I would have? How many balls would you drill if you knew you weren't going to leave a 10 pin?
Let Bill O'Neill know about that one too if you find it there.
Yeah, sure. Please, appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Mine, I don't have the person's name. I do not have the name here. All I have is a YouTube account initial. Hold on, I got to bring it up. And that is S. This is whoever S is under the Darren Tang YouTube channel. The video, should you really exchange your banned storm balls? So in this video, Darren and Chris Vi, they were talking about possible replacements for some of the balls that you might be sending back, right?
Fair
Giving
question.
their suggestions.
A lot of people are asking that. A lot of people are out there asking.
And like, clearly these are guys that bowled. They bowl for Storm. They've bowled for them for a while. Like, they understand.
They know.
Yeah, they know. Okay. So they're making these suggestions in the video, and this guy S, that's the avatar initial
X,
here.
Not XS.
Right, not Mr. X. This is Mr. S, I guess. He says the following. Darren is flat out wrong about a dark code being a replacement for the altered reality. The dark code is too weak in the back end. The gem is a better replacement with the same strong back end response.
Oh my God. No. No, dude.
Oh
my God. Have you
thrown a dark code? Can I say something though? Like, this is the bowling community's fault that we have people in the bowling community that think that they know better than someone who does this for a living.
US
and
Open
throws these balls every day, day in and day out.
Who won the US Open?
So that's where we're at. But this spreads to other things. It's like, not only do we have people in the bowling community going on professional bowlers' YouTube pages and telling them they're wrong, you got people who call themselves pros that aren't really pros. You got people who claim to be coaches that don't know anything. You got people who shoot honor scores that really they have no value. So, it's not surprising. It's not surprising, but it's sad. It is. It's sad to me. So S, whoever you are, kick rocks, dude. Seriously. Like where are these people coming from?
That's a good question, Mike. I don't know. They're coming without these people, though. We wouldn't have verse of the week.
They're coming from 5th and Japit, That's where they're coming from. They don't even know where they're at. They're coming from 5th and Japit.
Oh my God!
All right, Rob, give them what they want. worst of the week is getting bad.
I know we might have to.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
We might have to start some new segments.
We're not getting rid of worst of the week. We just got to tap into other sources. I think we got to find some other sources. Is someone asking if we like beef? Yeah, we love beef.
Mike
we love
loves
beef scuffed.
I
love beef. I thrive.
You're asking
I put bounties on trolls that start beef. Okay, so let's be clear.
I love it on Twitch too. Coming in hot on Twitch.
Okay.
Anyway, final thoughts.
What? We are gentlemen of taste. We are gentlemen of taste.
We watched the beef.
I don't know. That's a strange comment. It's a very strange comment. Vic is asking, any more rosin bags in stock? Yeah, Vic,
yes,
we have a few. We have a few left. If you want one, email us. All right, email us. We can.
Dude, we got all the people coming in from Twitch. I like turkey, the British monster.
Yeah, Jimmy's asking if we're on Twitch. Yeah, I think Rob got us on Twitch.
Yeah, we're there. No one watches us on Twitch, but I guess we have some new people. You disgusting man, beef only. He likes turkey. What is going on right now?
What is with these comments? Yo, these Twitch people are wild, son. These Twitch people are off the chain. What is up?
Dude, what's up, Twitch?
My goodness. My final thought this week. I got to give a shout out. You see this right behind me here, right here. This.
Yeah.
It's a new thing in my background right here.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? I should probably grab it. Can I grab it? Yeah,
what is that?
Let me grab it. I got to give a shout out to someone here. It's a little model Eagles helmet signed by Asante Samuel, former Eagle Asante Samuel. So yeah, got this in the mail today, and it arrived to me, and I was like, where did this come from? Why is this arriving in my door? And then I remembered that an old friend of mine, college bowling friend of mine, shout to Too Small, Dan Dunleavy, had hit me up last week and said, yo, send me your address. I have something. Well, here, he won it in some sort of online contest, and he's a Giants fan, and he does collect sports memorabilia, but he's a Giants fan, so he will not allow any Eagles or Cowboys memorabilia to remain in his household. So, therefore, he sent it to me. So, shout to Danny. Back in college, I hear very generous guy these days. In college, he would harass me for days over 50 cents he loaned me to get a soda. But, today, clearly he's balling because he's sending me, sports memorabilia in the mail, just out of the kindness of his heart. So I appreciate that.
Dude, that's the great gift. I love sports memorabilia. My best sports memorabilia that I have is a signed Mookie Wilson, Bill Buckner poster of the ball actually going through Bill Buckner's legs in the '86 World Series, which is one of my favorite things. So I love memorabilia. I got a few other things too. That's
Lou from my league. What's up, Lou? What's going on? Did we see the Brian Voss op-ed on how to fix the sport? I joined late. I've seen his post. We haven't really brought those up on here, Rob. We have tried to get him on the show, and we haven't been successful in that. So if any of you – and Lou, I saw he responded to your post on Facebook. So I don't know, maybe hit him up in a private message and tell him, yo, check these guys out on Sweep the Rack on their show. We would absolutely love to have them and have a conversation with them. I'll be honest, some of the stuff that I see from him online, it's very extreme. It's very extreme in terms of his views on things. I believe, Lou, on the post that he commented on that you put up, he actually suggested that at a certain point there'd probably be two different divisions of the game where you would have two-handed and one-handed and have different divisions for those players. I don't know. Seems very extreme to me. I think this would require a longer conversation about how to address some of the changes going on in high-level bowling right now. And Lou and I, in full disclosure, we bowl together on Tuesday night, so we talk about this stuff a lot. And last night, I was suggesting to Lou, Rob, that one of the things that I would like to see change before we make any drastic changes to what's going on out there, I would like to see some more variety in the patterns and more research done in terms of what can be done on the lane to change what the players do. Maybe research with oil in terms of what effect that's going to have, or can we find a type of oil that's not going to allow the lane to be manipulated as much? So just a thought anyway.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I'd like to get him on the show to get his viewpoints to see what his thoughts were. This guy is tripping, man. He always to be a little bit that I lost 30 pounds. That's
the
hilarious.
comment of the night. Yeah, that's amazing.
Congrats, the British monster. Who's scary.
Is that Stu? I don't know.
Could be. That's awesome if it was.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, yeah. Final thoughts, really. Just, looking forward to practice a little bit this weekend. Bowl, get back on the lanes a little bit.
The tournament. Yeah, looking forward to watching bowling as well. Checking out the action.
Yeah.
So
Saturday and Sunday, FYI. Anybody wants to know the schedule this weekend? They're both bowling Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Simo is bowling Maldonado. Buttriff is bowling AJ Johnson. And then Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tackett bowls Svensson and Tommy Jones bowling Kyle Sherman. So some interesting matches, man. Check it out this weekend. All on FS1. Set your DVRs if you're going to be out with the fam on this holiday weekend. Mike, enjoy your holiday with the Easter Bunny. And I know the Easter egg hunt probably, I'd imagine that's going down. Hey, check us out on our YouTube channel, Sweep the Rack Bowling. Twitter is always fun. Brooklyn Rob 11.
I'm at the 215th on Twitter. Check us out. We're always active on there while bowling's on. Rob, enjoy your practice or enjoy your event this weekend. We'll be on Twitter, I'm sure, going back and forth.
Sure.
Talking about how we bowled and whatnot. So, all right, folks, have a good week. We'll see you here next Wednesday. Man. Enjoy the bowling.
Later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.